All right, Fiona Anderson back with us from Business in Vancouver. And Sophie and I have talked about this in the air before. We're on the Freedom 95 plan for retirement.
That's right. We are. And I think retirement is one of those topics that we love to talk about, just like our housing and real estate markets. So a new study by the Conference Board of Canada out yesterday talked about retirement and what we thought about retirement and how important it is, given that we live so much longer now and returns are lower. You know, back in the 80s, remember the wealthy barber? That's when we were talking about Freedom 55. Well, returns were way higher then. Now we're kind of looking at 4 and 5% returns, so we really have to be more concentrated on how we prepare for retirement. And according to the Conference Board of Canada, 19% of people surveyed said they'll never retire. They don't think they'll ever be able to retire. And 30% said they hope to retire, but they really haven't figured out when they'll be able to do that. Now, that depended on the age, too. The young people were more optimistic. The young people said, oh, I think I'll be able to retire at 60. The people who are on the cusp of retirement, those 55 to 64, said they didn't think they'd be able to retire until 66. So you see, when you're younger, you're a bit more optimistic. You have a lot more saving years ahead of you. So what people are going to do, some people are going to plan to work after retirement. So they do plan to retire, step down from their current position, but either work part-time or do some contract work. So the numbers there. Overall, the whole group, and the whole age group, 45.6% of people said they thought they'd work after retirement. And that got higher the older the people were. So the people 45 to 64, 51% of them said they thought they'd work after retirement. And if you actually they were older than 65, 60% said they planned to work after retirement. Now, there could be a couple of reasons for that. Maybe they need the money, but also a lot of people, as we know, Steve, like to work. And they like to work and continue working. And they're also at their peak earning years. So they want to continue working. Or maybe they haven't figured out what they're going to do if they're not working. So that may be one reason. It may not be just financial. But another reason may be people don't really know how much they need to retire. And in another part of this study, they looked at they asked people, so do you know how much you need to retire? Women especially did not know. About almost 47% of women said they had no idea what they needed to retire, and 32% of men. And that's part of a financial literacy issue. And the Conference Board of Canada does recommend that people, mainly employers actually, because they're the ones, we spend most of our time at employment, so they're suggesting employers spend more time teaching their employees about how to prepare for retirement, how much money they need. And an interesting other study that came out this morning from BMO, they said 82% of Canadians gave themselves an A or B on knowing how to have a healthy diet. But only 56% of people gave themselves the top marks at knowing anything about investing. So that shows our little lack of knowledge, and so we definitely need a little bit more.
There you go. Okay, interesting. All right, thanks very much for that, Fiona.
Okay, thanks.
If you want more details on that, you can go to BIV.com.